Let's say that somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
They steal, they kill, they destroy, they look like Satan in how they act. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at them.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil. I know. Some of you guys are upset by that. Some of you guys are saying, I've been saying that for years. Okay, I'll take it a step further. It is not inherently evil to own another human being. I know, just wait. Some of you guys are really upset, but let's talk through this, because it is very important that every Christian affirm what I just said. And not only should they affirm it, every Christian in today's society should be able to defend what I just said, okay?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
For black people who do not embody that culture to repudiate it, hate it, and also for policymakers to make the kind of political movements and in terms of law and order that would usher in the change over time of that culture. One of them would be something like, I tweeted about this, the law of Moses in Deuteronomy 21 concerning a rebellious child. If 5 to 6% of black, I think it's something like 5% of black males are murderers. Think about that?
Yeah, 5% of young Africans are committing the bulk of the murders.
So if you had 100 black men in a room, even just, I think specifically, if you had 100 black men in a room, 5 of them would have committed murder, which is a lot, quite a few.
Well, and as Matt Walsh pointed out, the actual number of blacks who are committing murder is more than
whites.
Right. And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13% of
percentage of the population.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
He has something he wants to say about school shootings. Here is his extra point.
Another high school shooting yesterday, this one in Florida. 17 dead, the last report I saw. And everybody sends their thoughts and prayers again because that works so well. This is the 18th high school shooting in America this year, and we have 10 and a half months to go. We've had 290 since 2013. We average about one a week, but there's just nothing we can do. If it was a Muslim or a Mexican doing the shooting, how many new laws and how much money would we spend then to stop the madness? But since it's almost always a white kid, there's just nothing we can do. America has 5% of the world's population, and yet 31% of the world's mass shootings. We're worried about people coming to this country. They should be worried about us going to theirs. Australia had 4 mass shootings between 87 and 96. They passed stricter gun laws and haven't had a single mass shooting since. And here I thought, guns don't kill, people do. Is this the people we are? Last time I said we need to find a way to stop a nut with a gun, and that's all I said. I get an email saying, I'm saving my last bullet to put it right between your eyes. Just another responsible gun owner in America, and I'm taking all bets he's a white guy. So there's just nothing we can do. I'm Dale Hansen. It's getting harder to enjoy the day.
Every Christian should be able to defend it. They haven't had a good answer for the slavery issue. All right, Christians in America have been led astray on this topic. They've been led to believe things that the Bible doesn't teach. And when we go beyond the Bible, there are dire consequences. We must also acknowledge that men like our founders, men like Jonathan Edwards, who owned slaves, could in fact treat their slaves the way the Bible tells them to treat their slaves, and that they weren't living in grave sin, okay? They weren't living in unrepentant grave sin. They weren't orcs. in other words, right? And that's very, very important, because if we look back at our forefathers who engaged in a system that was ubiquitous all across the entire world, and we condemn them, right? C.S. Lewis calls that chronological snobbery. Okay, we're condemning them for being a product of their time, all right? But especially given the fact that the Bible does not explicitly condemn that as sinful, then we ought not explicitly condemn our forefathers, condemn Jonathan Edwards as grave, unrepentant sinners. That is chronological snobbery at its finest. And if you engage in that, you know, Jesus says, whatever measure you use will be measured to judge you, okay? And what will your great-great-grandkids have against you?
Exodus 12:49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Exodus 21:26-27. And if a man smite the eye of his servant, or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth, or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake. Exodus 21:20. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished. Genesis 9:6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood and they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics and even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto culture.
Violent crime.
Basically, take ghetto culture, it would describe this to a T.
No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no.
Let's go! This is the moment the storming of the Capitol was launched.
Move! Move!
The time, 12:53. The first Trump supporters reach the barricades set up in front of the Capitol, demanding to be let through. A handful of cops make a brave stand, trying to hold the line, but the angry mob overwhelms them. Hundreds follow, swarming the grounds. Capitol Police are powerless. 1:15, flag-waving Trump loyalists fill the steps and balconies. They even scale the walls.
I can see at least half a dozen protesters scaling, literally climbing the walls of the Capitol.
The thugs smash windows, using fists and a shield. This guy used a metal barrier on a door. 1:33, they're in. TV anchors watching it unfold live are stunned.
It is an absolutely shameful, disgusting situation that we are witnessing.
And the city's police chief vowed to bring the mob to justice.
We still have a significant amount of work ahead of us to identify and hold each and every one of the violent mob accountable for their actions.
What we've done instead is we've actually, with unjust weights and measures, we have wildly penalized whites.
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research.
Do not condemn our forefathers who may have been treating their slaves biblically, and in fact, it was such like 2% of the Americas, right, actually owned slaves. And anyone who actually engaged in real abuse, yeah, we condemn that. We condemn treating other image bearers as subhuman. That's evil, that's bad, that's not good. We can condemn that, okay? But we cannot condemn the entire institution of slavery like outright. We just cannot do that because the Bible does not do that.
Exodus 21:16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Deuteronomy 24:7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you.
A criminal tendency of black males that needs to be cut off through the wielding of the sword by the civil magistrate.
What's your thoughts? Please put in the comment and be respectful to others.